I think the Baltimore Orioles can win 100 games this year and be the class of the American League with the Yankees.
I want to talk about this season. So it's already begun, Dodgers, Cubs in Japan. One of our reporters, Bob Nightingale, reported that Cubs players actually really love the opportunity to do this, but I would love your take on MLB trying to take the game overseas.
Well, the more the better, right? I mean, you look at the other leagues that are having enormous success with this, the NFL, NBA, soccer. The One of the major components of growth for all these leagues are outside of the U.S. And I mean, Japan baseball is just enormous. I always compare it to, NFL's king here in America, but just think about baseball in Japan is like 10 times bigger than the NFL in, per capita in Japan. I was there recently, a few months ago, and the talk of baseball is Shohei Ohtani, who in many ways has become like our Michael Jordan. And what a great asset and ambassador to be able to grow the game international.
Right. And speaking of the Dodgers, I mean, LA's lineup somehow looks even better than last season. Do you think we're going to see them win another World Series in 2025?
Well, if you look at just a roster, and you don't have to play the game, you would say that by far the runaway leaders to be able to do that. But when you look at stats over the last 100 years, I don't think you've had more than a handful of teams repeat. It's really, really difficult to repeat because, as from opening day on, you have a bullseye right on your forehead, and everybody's coming out to play the very best. So a lot of times you got to stay healthy, you got to stay disciplined. You obviously need a little luck, but as far as what the Dodgers are doing, from finances to what they're doing on the field to what they're doing in the community, it's an A+.
Yeah. There's been chatter around Shohei Ohtani getting back on the mound, but I don't know if it seems like the Dodgers aren't really in a hurry to get him back out there. Do you think that Ohtani needs to get back into the pitching mindset sooner than later, or do you kind of like trust the process?
I mean, who am I to question anything that the Dodgers are doing? I mean, everything they're doing is working at a very high level right now. So um, I would just always tread really lightly when you just won a title, and Shohei was the king of the world in every category offensively. I don't think folks out there, your readers or viewers, may even understand how difficult it is to be a world-class pitcher that throws over 100 miles per hour, and also a world-class hitter that hits 50 home runs but can also steal 50 bases. It is like incredibly taxing on the body and the mind. And so I think they're doing it the right way. Be very cautious and tread lightly.
Yeah. Talking about the Yankees here, I know fans are pretty bummed about Soto to the Mets, but they also picked up quite a bit of talent, and early projections have them taking the AL East this season. How do you think they look heading into opening day?
Well, look, things you can't control are obviously injuries, and they've had a couple of tough injuries here with Gerritt Cole and all of that. But as far as it's demoralizing when you lose a player like Juan Soto, who's a future Hall of Famer, but is really energizing to see what the organization has. So those resources that we're going to go and allocate to Soto and the players they brought in, like Bellinger and Max Fried and other players, I think they did a really nice job of pivoting in real time. Now they have to overcome some of these injuries. The one team I wouldn't overlook is the Baltimore Orioles. Usually the third year is a charm. You come out of the gates in the first year with all the young players. You go into a little bit of a sophomore slump. They had a couple tough injuries last year. But I think the Baltimore Orioles can win 100 games this year and be the class of the American League with the Yankees.
I like that. I'd love your take on robo umps. I know they weren't calling balls or strikes in spring training, but they were in the mix for challenges. Was it weird incorporating more technology in the game when you see it? And do you have any hesitations for the guys in 2026 when we will see this in Major League Baseball?
I hate the robo umps because I love
You
humans,
do.
and I don't like taking jobs away from human beings. And I do think that umpires and refs are some of the greatest asset of sports, that human element, the ability to pivot and make real hardcore decisions. And yeah, I'm just pro human over robots.